Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Those of you who are new here, thanks for stopping by. Feel free to check out the channel. So, I'm just not having a lot of fun with the new season in the Division 2. The journey this time around is a bit more grindy than I'd like, and the modifiers are just not hitting it for me very much. I mean, it is what it is. I know there's some folks out there still loving on the game in this season, and that's perfectly fine. Me, I needed a break from it for a little while. Not so much the game itself, I'm still making content for it. I needed a change of pace for a little short break. So, I wanted to cover something else for a change. I posted a video about Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 6 earlier this week, and I wanted to talk about something else associated with those two titles. Something I think is cool anyways. EA announced and introduced Portal to the Battlefield franchise through Battlefield 2042. This feature allowed players to host PvE and PvP maps for free. Now, prior to this feature, EA allowed for renting servers for PvP for titles such as Battlefield 3, 4, and Bad Company 1 and 2. These maps were simply a library of PvP maps EA provided for that title, and host players could select their favorites and then launch the profile. And it's looking like it's returning with Battlefield 6 with some upgrades, including creating your own PvP maps, as well as selecting from the prefab locations. And those changes and upgrades are what today's video is going to be about. Now, before we get down to it, this is my quick thank you to all my subscribers, channel members, and clanmates. The subscribers helped me get this channel off the ground. The members joined, and that resulted in additional support. And my clanmates help me on the daily with ideas, suggestions, and feedback that I find invaluable. So a big, huge thank you to all of you. Okay, let's do it. Now, before we get started with the goodies information, I'm not comparing the old system of Battlefield 2042 to Battlefield 6. I'm going to show you the slides EA provided about those pieces and how they snap together, and why Portal turned Battlefield into a place where the best ideas from 2042 has the potential for memorable game experiences, and how we don't have to wait for a patch if there's some kind of balance issue on the maps. So, EA Battlefield 6 just recently announced handing creator tools from the feedback they received in 2042's Portal experience. And they have tweaked and improved the feature for Battlefield 6. The tweaks and improvements include custom UI, AI behavior scripting, a spatial editor, persistent servers, native experiences library, and a web builder you can touch from your phone. Portal in Battlefield 6 isn't a menu of modifiers, it's a toolchain. You get to design the rules and the way players learn from them. You script AI that behaves with intent. You reshape lanes to match the experience. You host it on a server that actually stays up. People find it in a library. And you iterate into a web builder without booting a dev kit. And that's not a toy, that's a production loop sized for a community. When Portal dropped in 2042, it sounded revolutionary. The pitch was, hey, make your own Battlefield. And while the idea was strong, the execution was, shall we say, a bit shaky. There were several posts and comments on the EA forums reporting persistent servers weren't there, searchability being a mess, infantry-only custom PvP where vehicles were completely absent from the maps, missing core features. Some servers could only pop out Rush or Conquest, and in some instances, some of those servers couldn't have both in rotation. Player-driven experience issues such as XP farming abuse. Now, that abuse is... As an example, in 2042, Portal has the ability to customize game modes with flexible rules, which lead to the exploitation by players who create XP farm servers. These servers offered an insane increase in XP for easy actions, and that led DICE to slam XP caps on Portal. The community widely criticized this as it discouraged legitimate play. Half the good game mods died in obscurity because you had to scroll through lobbies and hope you landed in something fun. Now, compare that to the golden age of Battlefield 3 and 4 rented servers. Some servers had their own reputation. People knew them by name. Hardcore Metro 24/7, or CQB Locker Only. These weren't just lobbies, they were hangouts, almost brands within themselves. And if you go back further, Bad Company 2 gave us that sense of destructive freedom where map identity mattered. Battlefield 6 seems to be leaning and learning from all that. By bolting these new features into a realistic toolkit, EA is saying, we're not renting you a lobby anymore, we're handing you a canvas. So let's take a look at what EA is proposing for Battlefield 6. So, EA is using the model of the fastest way to lose players is to explain a mode instead of showing it. And the custom UI is just that. In the portal, hosting players will have control to customize text, icons, buttons, and through scripting. So this would introduce brand new ways to experience the game, customize timers, environmental conditions, and even the scoreboard. Now this has a practical use. As a new player loads in, they don't need a video. They see whatever rules are there for that specific map and immediately understand the overall objective. The takeaway is that the updated UI isn't decorative, it's difficulty tuning. The more the HUD teaches, the smoother the experience should feel. Now next up we've got AI scripting. This feature gives host players to plug in exactly what they want on the maps. Now in doing so, this will turn bot difficulty into bot intent, as the host player now has the ability to tell AI what to do and when. The host players can now set shooting certain targets, waypoints and triggers, targeting logic, encounter design, even set the map up as a 2D top-down if they so choose to. That should be an interesting mode. Picture this. You spawn into a custom PvE wave defense map. Instead of hunting for rules in a Discord description or some such, the loading page literally tells you what's going to happen with this map and the HUD walks you through. Wave countdown timers in the corner, icons have priority targets, and on screen defend the radar dish marker or something like that changes dynamically, and so much more. That's teaching while playing. For content creators, this means no more relying on a 3-minute explainer before the fun starts. For clans, it means onboarding new players in seconds. And for competitive groups, imagine UI scripts that highlight scoring rules mid-match so nobody argues about whether kills or objectives win the round. And the bots included in the map? This isn't just harder or easier bots, it's authored encounters. Think about how Left 4 Dead created tension with its AI director. Now imagine applying that logic in Battlefield. You could spawn squads that flank instead of run in a straight line. Script ambushes where bots stay hidden until a player crosses a trigger. Even force bots to retreat to secondary positions instead of suiciding. For PvE fans, this means you're not fighting dumb drones. You're fighting designed experiences. For PvP, you can even script hybrid matches, 8v8 humans with waves of AI flooding the AoEs. It's not just difficulty, it's storytelling through AI. Okay, next up, we have the Spatial Editor. With MapFlow, it's all about density. Spatial Editor lets some interesting things happen, such as place spawns where rotation feels fair for those PvE experiences, move objectives to create triangles instead of lines if you so choose, drop assets like barricades, cover chunks, lane blockers from a shared pool, adjust the borders of the map. This allows for large-scale maps can still be a clean arena, and you could expand existing maps or stack them on top of one another. If players can quickly figure out where the engagement will pop, you've edited the area correctly. Imagine taking a massive battlefield map like Caspian Border and shrinking it down into a 3-lane arena by blocking off areas. Or do the opposite. Take a small infantry map and expand it outward with vehicle spawns and new flanking paths. The Spatial Editor is more than just map tweaks, it's pacing control. Want constant action? Funnel spawns into a choke point. Want tactical spread? Push objectives apart to force rotations. This is the first time Battlefield gives the average player the keys to flow, and flow is what makes matches memorable and fun again. Alright, next up we have persistent servers. Your purchase of the game allows you one persistent server, and that's continuity. So your mode is always there at the same name and address. Communities can schedule regular nights, admin tools matter because identity matters, which is server developed culture. And the server is on 24/7, even if you are not. This is just one of the aspects where Battlefield borrows from MMOs. Persistent space matters and creates culture. Think of how WoW guilds or Destiny clans treat their home base. Your server could be just that. With the tools EA is offering, a server isn't just where you log in, it's a billboard of your community's identity. Streamers can brand servers around their content. Clans could create training grounds. Even casual players can have a chill server with permanent settings. The persistence changes the relationship. It's no longer a lobby, it's a hangout. So I would suggest treating the server like a brand. Name it well. Post patch notes on the regular. Pin the rules in your custom UI. Consistency wins retention. Alright, next up we got the Experiences library. It works with keywords, tags, and filters, which means the good stuff is findable. The dream here is simple. I should be able to type 8v8 rush urban lanes or PvE waves jets off and get active servers right now. If Battlefield curates a feature playlist from this feed, host players shouldn't have any trouble with activity on their servers. In 2042, half the problem was just finding something fun. You'd scroll endlessly only to land in an empty lobby. With a robust lobby and library, discovery isn't guesswork. For creators, this means your mode doesn't vanish after 48 hours. For players, it means you don't waste Friday nights server hopping. And if DICE curates a featured section, we could see breakout hits from regular community members, not just official modes. This isn't a playlist, it's a living archive. Alright, and then we've got the web builder. The web builder is coming jam-packed with over 100 toggles, mutators, sliders for the phone, tablet, or the PC. You run around, see armor farming infantry, and in 30 seconds you reduce the splash radius by 15%, drop a soft cover prop on the approach, cap vehicle count to 1 per lane, and publish. The next round feels better. That loop, observe, tweak, and republish, is how a host server can build community modes, which can lessen host player burnout. Iteration is how real games get better. Devs patch, test, and hotfix. Now you, as a player, get that loop in your pocket. That means instead of waiting for DICE to fix a balance issue, you could fix it in your own space. If jets are ruining the infantry map, cap them instantly. If snipers are slowing gameplay, tweak visibility or add fog props. For content creators, this is gold. Every tweak is content. I ran the same map with 3 different settings. Here's how it changed the match. You're not just hosting, you're designing. So, with the updated UI, you set the rules. The AI lets you set the map behavior. The web builder lets you set the balance. The library lets you set what's for each map, from assets to locations. The persistent server simply allows the lights to stay on while you're away. And this all allows for the player experience to have clear lanes, readable engagement, and no dead running. If you lose, you know why. That's what we meant. That's what we want. Now, I want to be clear with you all. I didn't actually spend time building or hosting servers in 2042's Portal. My experience with that game was mainly on the regular modes, and honestly, I didn't even look twice at Portal until EA started showcasing it for Battlefield 6 updates. That might actually work in my favor because I'm looking at this feature the way a lot of you probably are. Curious, but brand new. So instead of speaking as a Portal veteran, I'm coming in as a player who's been watching what the community said about it. The big takeaway I keep seeing is that Portal in 2042 had good bones but poor execution. People complained about XP farming servers, missing tools, and the fact that even fun custom modes got buried because nobody could find them. What that tells me is simple. The concept wasn't the problem. the systems around it were. So if Battlefield 6 fixes those systems with persistent servers, search tools, and easier ways to tweak balance, then Portal can finally become what people wanted in the first place, a mode where creativity actually sticks. The biggest reason I didn't get an opportunity to test out a host server in 2042 was because I was busy playing The Division 2. And I only recently started playing 2042 to get back in practice for Battlefield 6 launch. I was, shall we say, rusty when I participated in the open betas. But I will host a server on Battlefield 6, and if I find the experience to my liking, I may revisit 2042 to create one there. This feature looks to be fun, especially for content creators. It could even be great for new content creators. Setting ticket rates, timers, making maps how you want them to be would be an interesting experience. But the real question is, can a host player get too creative? Like, when does it become too much? Where do you find a good balance of maps, map sizes, game modes, and creativity? If you hosted on 2042, I would very much be interested in reading your comments about that idea below. If Battlefield 6's Portal launches as these slides suggest, you won't wait for DICE to pick the flavor of the month. You'll pick a server that already plays like your flavor, or build it and invite us all to play. And since I didn't dive into Portal 2042, Battlefield 6 is going to be my first real hands-on experience with this feature. So here's my simple game plan when it launches. First thing I'm going to do is host a small PvE survival server. This allows me to test something that, with just me and the clan against waves of AI, testing how the scripting feels. After that, I'll start experimenting with balance tweaks. I want to see how fast the web builder really is. Can I adjust vehicles and splash damage on the fly, or does it feel clunky? And if it works smoothly, I'll move to PvP setups. Small squad versus squad matches, or on shrunken down maps where I could play with spawn points and pacing using the Spatial Editor. Basically, I'm not planning anything crazy at first. I want to get a feel for the tools, see what breaks, and then share that process with you all. The wins, the fails, and the, okay, this is busted, but in a good way kind of moments. And if it's a great experience, I may host one for 2042 as well, as I stated before, as the game should still be live for some time after Battlefield 6 launches. This feature is what's making this exciting for me. We'll be learning it together, and if you're watching my content, you'll see the experiments unfold in real time. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture for a moment. With all these tools, Portal in Battlefield 6 isn't just a feature, it's an ecosystem. Communities will form around certain servers. Creators will showcase their best builds. Clans will have their own home turf. And players who might have drifted away will stick around because there's always something new. Other games have already proven this. Halo Forged birthed modes that became official playlists. Fortnite Creative turned players into full-time designers. Arma modes and mods literally birth entire genres, such as DayZ and PUBG. Battlefield has the scale, the chaos, and the tools. All it needs is players willing to push the boundaries. I hope you all found this video interesting. What do you think of 2042's Portal? What do you think of the changes and updates for Portal coming for Battlefield 6? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember, we're on all the platforms, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and with crossplay for 2042 and Battlefield 6, we'd love to see you in the servers. Check out the merch store, working on more themed items now that the channel is expanding. You can find us on Discord and X too. Come join the Discord, drop a message on the X account. And until the next one, this is Hannibal, signing off.